The universe has its secrets, right? But sometimes those secrets just can't stay hidden. Every now and then the abyss gives us a little nudge, something tiny, something weird, that flips everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. Tonight, we're diving into one of those mysteries. This isn't some sci-fi tale or wild imagination. It's a real anomaly, a data point from deep space that raises a chilling question. Has artificial light been spotted on the interstellar traveler known as 3I Atlas? Pause for a moment and let that sink in. Artificial light. Not reflected sunlight, not chemical burn-off, not the natural glow of ice crystals under cosmic radiation, but something that hints at structure, at intention, at intelligence. The cosmos is full of mysteries, but when we talk about light, the very signal of civilization as we know it, we are stepping into the realm of prophecy. Because for millennia, seers, mystics, and visionaries have spoken of a day when mankind would look to the heavens and see the undeniable sign that we are not alone. What if 3I Atlas is that sign? To understand the gravity of this, we must begin at the basics. The name 3I Atlas refers to a hyperbolic interstellar object, the third of its kind ever detected by human instruments. First, there was 1I Oumuamua, the mysterious cigar-shaped visitor that defied every known model of natural comets. Then came 2I Borisov, which looked much more like a regular comet, but carried within it an otherworldly trail. And now, 3I Atlas. Each interstellar visitor has dragged with it more questions than answers, more anomalies than science can comfortably explain. But Atlas is different, not because of its orbit, not because of its structure, but because it carries a glow that doesn't make sense. Scientists scanning the skies noticed it while tracking the trajectory of Atlas as it passed through our solar neighborhood. Against the black canvas of infinity, Atlas flickered, not once, not twice, but in patterned intervals. Light that seemed to dance, light that seemed to pulse. And when data was cross-referenced with known stellar sources, nearby asteroids and cosmic background noise, the anomaly remained. It was not a star in the distance. It was not a satellite reflection. It was Atlas itself. Imagine what this means. For years, SETI has scanned the skies, hoping to catch a whisper of a radio signal from alien civilizations. Billions of dollars invested, countless hours of computation dedicated to searching for the faintest sign. But what if, instead of sound, the universe speaks to us through light? After all, light is the universal signature of civilization. From the campfires of our ancestors, to the city skylines that can be seen from orbit, to the laser beams that now transmit our information across continents, light is how we announce our presence to the void. If Atlas is glowing in a way that cannot be explained naturally, then perhaps something or someone wanted us to notice. Skeptics, of course, argue otherwise. They point to cryovolcanism, where frozen gases erupt under pressure, releasing energy that might mimic a luminous pulse. They argue for solar radiation reflecting off patches of volatile ice. They suggest data misinterpretation, faulty instruments, or software glitches. And yes, these possibilities must be entertained because science demands skepticism. But prophecy whispers through anomalies. Skeptics can argue against one irregularity, maybe even two. But when you begin to see patterns, when the pulses align with rhythms that feel too deliberate, too intentional, you can no longer hide behind coincidence. The intervals of light detected on 3I Atlas were not random. They repeated in a cycle eerily similar to binary coding. Long pulse, short pulse, long pause, short flicker. A rhythm that no natural process has ever produced in the cold silence of interstellar space. Binary, the foundation of all our digital communication. Could it be that across the abyss, another intelligence discovered the same simple, elegant language of ones and zeros? If so, then Atlas may not just be an interstellar rock drifting by chance. It may be a vessel, a messenger, or perhaps the tomb of an ancient civilization whose signal still echoes, carried like a funeral flame through the galaxies. Now take a step back and remember history. Prophets like Nostradamus spoke of lights in the heavens, strange stars appearing that would foretell the arrival of a new age. Indigenous seers in North America spoke of moving stars that would one day bring messages from the ancestors. Even in the Vedic texts of India, There are mentions of shining chariots that glow against the night, traveling from worlds unseen. Are these just myths? Or were they attempts by ancient minds to describe phenomena similar to what we are now recording with our telescopes? The scientific establishment hesitates to embrace such connections, and yet humanity is haunted by an undeniable hunger, the hunger to know whether we are alone. If this light is artificial, then we are standing at the threshold of contact, and with contact comes change. Profound, irreversible change. The type of change that can shatter empires, rewrite religions, and redefine what it means to be human. That is why discoveries like this are often downplayed, buried under jargon, hidden behind cautious scientific language. But we are not here tonight to hide behind cautious words. We are here to stare into the abyss and confront what may be the most important discovery of our age. Let us consider what Atlas could be. Possibility 1. Atlas is a natural interstellar object, but one that has been modified, artificially altered, to emit signals. Think about our own Voyager probes, drifting now in interstellar space. Small metallic artifacts carrying golden records etched with humanity's voice. If another civilization found them millions of years from now, they might wonder the same things we are wondering tonight. Could Atlas be someone else's Voyager? A probe launched eons ago, now adrift, still pulsing faint signals of its maker's existence. Possibility 2. Atlas is a relic, the remains of a civilization that destroyed itself, leaving behind machines that continue to wander the galaxy. The light could be the flickering of an automated beacon, still functioning long after its creators vanished. A cosmic tombstone, bearing silent testimony to both the glory and the fragility of intelligent life. And in that scenario, the prophecy deepens. Because it may not only be a sign that we are not alone, it may also be a warning, a vision of our own possible future. Possibility 3. Atlas is alive. Not alive in the way we think of plants and animals, but alive as a machine, a construct designed to endure the cold eternity of space. Imagine an artificial intelligence born on another world, given the mission to explore, to learn, to carry its creator's memory to distant suns. Could Atlas itself be that intelligence? A mind not bound by flesh, but by circuitry and light, staring at our solar system as curiously as we are staring at it. These are not fantasies. These are possibilities grounded in the patterns we see, in the anomalies recorded, in the undeniable logic of probability. For the universe is too vast, too ancient, to believe that Earth alone has birthed civilization. We are but one spark in an ocean of stars, and when another spark passes by, glowing, pulsing, whispering, it would be madness not to listen. NASA, however, has remained silent. Requests to redirect higher resolution instruments, such as the cameras aboard Juno or the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, have been brushed aside. Officials cite resource allocation, technical limitations, and scientific priorities. But to many, this silence feels deliberate. Why ignore an anomaly that could redefine our understanding of life in the universe, unless, of course, they already know more than they are telling us? Unless the light of Atlas is not just an anomaly, but a secret that governments are not ready to reveal. And here is where prophecy collides with reality. Time and again, when great revelations approached, power structures resisted. The Church resisted Galileo when he proved the Earth was not the center of the universe. Authorities silenced prophets whose visions challenged the order of the day. And now, as Atlas flickers in the distance, perhaps the silence of the institutions is not ignorance, but fear. Fear of what humanity might do when faced with undeniable proof of other intelligence, fear of panic, of collapse, of chaos. And yet hiding the truth has never stopped prophecy from unfolding. The truth always finds a way. For those who watch the skies, for those who study the patterns of history, Atlas is not merely a rock, it is a herald. The flickering glow is a message waiting to be decoded, a revelation waiting to pierce through the veil of secrecy. And whether the powers that be admit it or not, humanity has already crossed the threshold. We have seen the light, and once seen, it cannot be unseen. Perhaps the light is a test, perhaps it is an invitation, or perhaps it is a mirror showing us what we might one day become, a civilization whose only trace across eternity is a pulse of artificial light in the darkness. Whatever it is, the prophecy is clear. The age of cosmic solitude is ending. The question is whether we are ready. The most unsettling part of this entire mystery is not the detection itself, but the silence that surrounds it. When astronomers first noticed Atlas pulsing with that unexplainable glow, the scientific community expected a flood of debate, papers, and follow-up missions. But instead, there was only a ripple of acknowledgement, quickly buried under other headlines, as if someone wanted the story to die before it had a chance to ignite the imagination of humanity. And yet, how do you silence the cosmos? How do you bury a star that flickers in patterns too deliberate to ignore? You cannot, because once humanity has tasted the possibility, prophecy itself takes over, and the narrative begins to spread beyond control. Think of the moment in history when radio waves were first discovered. Invisible energy rippling through the air, suddenly made audible. Imagine being the first to realize that there was an entire spectrum of communication around us, unseen yet powerful. Atlas represents that same moment, only this time it is not about discovering a new wavelength of nature. It is about discovering a new neighbor in the universe, and neighbors bring questions. Who are they? What do they want? Why reveal themselves now? Prophecy teaches us that timing is never accidental. Signs arrive when the world is on the verge of transformation. Look at the state of Earth today. Division, conflict, environmental collapse, a species tearing itself apart, blinded by greed and arrogance. If Atlas is a signal, then perhaps it has been timed for this very age, a reminder that we are not alone, that we are accountable to something greater than ourselves. Or perhaps it is a test watching to see whether we destroy ourselves before we are ready to join the wider cosmic community. Either way, the timing feels prophetic, a light appearing in the heavens precisely when humanity's future hangs by a thread. And then there is the rhythm itself. Astronomers studying the flickers found an unnerving similarity between Atlas's pulses and the binary sequences we use in modern computing. Long, short, pause. Long, short, short, pause. Patterns that echo the structure of code. Could it be coincidence? Perhaps. But prophecy warns us to look beyond coincidence, for in prophecy, symbols matter, patterns matter. The rhythm of Atlas might not just be communication, it might be scripture written in photons, an interstellar text waiting to be translated. If so, then who were its authors? The possibilities are staggering. Perhaps Atlas is a machine built by a civilization millions of years older than us, its creators long gone, but their technology still functional, drifting between stars, carrying the torch of knowledge. Or maybe Atlas is not a machine at all, but a fragment of a world, an ark that escaped a dying sun, carrying within it the remnants of a people who refused to vanish quietly. If that is the case, then the light is not just a signal, it is a cry, a cosmic distress beacon echoing across eternity, begging for someone to listen. And now, finally, we have. But here is the dangerous part. Listening is one thing. Responding is another. Because the moment we respond, the moment we send our own light back into the abyss, we declare ourselves to the universe. And prophecy has long warned of the double edge of revelation. The same light that announces salvation can also summon destruction. When we send our voice across the stars, we do not choose who will hear it. A friend or a predator, a civilization of wisdom, or a civilization of conquest. Atlas could be the invitation to join a galactic brotherhood, or the bait of a cosmic hunter waiting for the next naive species to announce itself. Think about it. When we look at history on Earth, every time an isolated tribe encountered a technologically superior civilization, the result was almost always the same. The weaker culture was overwhelmed, often destroyed. Could the same fate await humanity if we leap blindly toward Atlas, declaring our presence to powers we cannot comprehend? Perhaps that is why governments remain silent, not because they doubt, but because they fear. Fear that acknowledging Atlas could unleash consequences we are not prepared to face. And yet, prophecy tells us that fear cannot hold back destiny. For centuries, mystics have described an age of unveiling, a time when hidden truths will pour into the open, when humanity will be forced to confront realities long denied. Perhaps Atlas is the beginning of that unveiling, a silent herald announcing the dawn of a new cosmic era. We can resist it, deny it, hide it, but the light will not go away. It will keep pulsing, keep flickering, keep reminding us that the abyss is not empty. And one day, whether through courage or through curiosity, we will answer. Now let us entertain the thought that Atlas is not a messenger, but a traveler, not a passive signal, but an active presence. What if the flickering is not a transmission, but navigation lights? What if Atlas is a vessel, a craft cloaked in the disguise of a comet, moving through systems unnoticed, until one small anomaly revealed its secret? If that is true, then Atlas is not just drifting, it is moving with purpose. And if it has entered our solar system, then perhaps its destination is closer than we dare to believe. Prophecy across cultures speaks of the return of the gods, beings who once walked among humanity, promising to one day come again. Some saw them as angels, some as deities, some as advanced visitors from the stars. What if Atlas is connected to those ancient promises? What if the civilizations that seeded those myths are the same ones whose technology now flickers in our telescopes? The cycle would be complete. The ancients saw the visitors and told their stories, and now, in the modern age, we witness their return in the form of interstellar beacons. What was once myth becomes fact. What was once prophecy becomes history. But let us go deeper still. What if the light of Atlas is not external but internal? What if it is not about aliens but about us? Consider this. Human consciousness has always been intertwined with light. We describe enlightenment as the gaining of wisdom. We speak of truth as illumination. We imagine the divine as radiant. Perhaps the flickering of Atlas is not only a physical signal, but a mirror of our own awakening, a reminder that within every human being there is also an artificial light, a spark of creation, a coded pulse waiting to be awakened. Atlas may not only be asking us to look outward, but to look inward, to remember that civilization is measured not by the machines we build, but by the wisdom we carry. And yet, even with this deeper meaning, the practical questions remain. What exactly is Atlas? Why does it glow? And what happens next? Scientists cannot hide forever. Eventually, the data will leak. Amateur astronomers, scanning the skies with increasingly advanced equipment, will confirm what has been seen. Once the light of Atlas becomes public knowledge, the world will be forced to confront it. Religions will scramble to interpret it. Governments will try to control it. Philosophers will wrestle with it. But the prophecy is clear. No institution will be able to contain it. The light belongs to all humanity, and all humanity must answer its call. And here lies the most profound truth. Whether Atlas is alien, artificial, or symbolic, its existence has already changed us. Even the possibility of artificial light in the depths of space shifts the axis of human imagination. No longer are we bound to the smallness of Earth. No longer can we pretend that we are the sole torchbearers of intelligence. We are part of a larger story, a cosmic narrative stretching beyond our comprehension. Atlas is not just a comet. It is a page in that story, a verse in that prophecy, and its light is a sentence written across the dark canvas of eternity. So let us prepare ourselves not with fear, but with readiness. For prophecy is not meant to terrify, it is meant to awaken. And Atlas may well be the trumpet that awakens humanity from its long sleep of arrogance and isolation. We may not yet know its meaning, but we know this. The light is real. The anomaly is undeniable. And the prophecy is unfolding before our very eyes. The question now is not whether we are alone, but whether we are ready to no longer be alone. And so as we reach deeper into this unfolding mystery, the question lingers in the air like static electricity before a storm. What happens when the light of Atlas can no longer be ignored? The moment humanity accepts that it is not a natural glow, not a trick of reflection, but something more, the world will split into two paths. One path leads toward unity, curiosity, and awakening. The other path descends into fear, denial, and conflict. This is the crossroad that prophecy has always warned us about. the moment when humanity must choose whether to rise as one or collapse under the weight of revelation. Think for a moment about the psychological impact. For centuries, we have gazed at the stars with a quiet arrogance, believing that Earth is special, unique, a jewel alone in the void. Atlas shatters that illusion. The glow that flickers in the darkness is more than a scientific anomaly. It is a direct blow to our sense of cosmic superiority. For some, this will be liberating. For others, terrifying. Religions will be tested, doctrines rewritten, entire belief systems forced to adapt. The faithful may see Atlas as the herald of divine beings, the messengers of God returning to remind us of our place. The secular may see it as proof of intelligent life, confirmation that we are part of a much greater family of civilizations. Both sides, however, will be forced to confront a truth larger than their narratives. The light does not belong to one faith or one philosophy. It belongs to existence itself. History shows us how humanity reacts to paradigm shifts. When Galileo proved that the Earth revolved around the sun, it was not only science that changed, it was religion, culture, power. Entire systems of thought collapsed, and new ones arose from the ashes. The same will happen with Atlas. The light it emits will not only reshape astronomy, it will reshape politics, economies, and human ambition. Suddenly, our petty conflicts will look small, our wars trivial, our divisions meaningless. Because how can borders matter when an interstellar object whispers from the darkness that we are not alone? Prophecy suggests that in the face of the infinite, human tribes dissolve, and a new identity is born, the identity of Earth itself. But perhaps this is the true reason for silence. Governments understand the power of paradigm shifts. They know that once the truth of Atlas is undeniable, control will slip through their fingers. Populations will demand answers, resources will shift toward space exploration, and secrecy will no longer hold. And so the light of Atlas becomes both a revelation and a threat not to humanity, but to the structures that claim to govern it. And here lies the irony. Prophecy has always promised that truth cannot be suppressed forever. The harder one tries to bury it, the brighter it shines. Atlas, in this way, is both cosmic and poetic. Its glow is a literal light and a metaphorical one, exposing the shadows of those who would rather keep humanity in ignorance. Now let us imagine what comes next. Suppose that the data becomes undeniable. Suppose that amateur astronomers confirm the flickering patterns with clarity. At first, the world may panic. Stock markets may tremble. Conspiracy theories may erupt. People may retreat into fear. But slowly a shift will occur. Humanity will begin to dream bigger. Space programs will accelerate. Funding for exploration will multiply. Nations will form alliances not for war, but for discovery. Atlas will serve as a magnet, pulling us upward, reminding us that our destiny is not confined to Earth. We will begin to see ourselves not as separate nations, but as one species preparing to meet another. This too aligns with prophecy. Ancient seers across cultures spoke of an age of unity following an age of chaos. The Hopi spoke of the return of the star people. The Maya predicted a new cycle of awakening, one that would connect Earth with the heavens. Christian texts describe a day when signs will appear in the skies, heralding a new covenant. Hindu scriptures tell of yugas, cycles of time, with each new age marked by cosmic revelation. Could it be that Atlas is the very sign they all foresaw? Could the light flickering from its surface be the cosmic announcement that the new age has already begun? But here lies the warning within the prophecy. Not every revelation leads to salvation. Some lead to destruction, because with knowledge comes responsibility, and with revelation comes temptation. If Atlas is indeed an artifact, or a vessel, or a beacon, there will be those who seek to weaponize it. Imagine governments racing to decode its signal, not for unity, but for dominance. Imagine corporations seeking to patent alien technology for profit. Imagine nations fighting not over land, but over who gets to control humanity's first interstellar contact. This too is part of prophecy, the danger of greed in the face of divine light. The same fire that warms us can also burn us. The light of Atlas could ignite a golden age of discovery or plunge us into an era of unprecedented conflict. But even if humanity fails, prophecy suggests that the cosmos does not. The universe does not rely on our readiness. The light will continue to shine, the signal will continue to pulse, with or without our understanding. And perhaps in the grand design, Atlas was never meant for governments or scientists, but for the people, for you, for me, for every human who has ever looked up at the night sky and wondered. Because wonder is not owned by institutions, it is the birthright of every soul. And maybe the true purpose of Atlas is not to deliver technology or knowledge, but to awaken that wonder again, to remind us that the universe is alive and we are part of its song. And yet, prophecy whispers one final chilling possibility. What if the light of Atlas is not meant for us at all? What if it is a signal, yes, but not addressed to Earth? What if it is a message meant for another civilization, and we are merely eavesdroppers in a conversation far beyond our comprehension? Imagine two titans of the cosmos, civilizations older than humanity by millions of years, speaking across the void with beams of artificial light, and we, small, fragile, newborn, have stumbled upon their dialogue, like children overhearing the secrets of gods. In that case, Atlas is not a message for us, but a reminder of how young, how vulnerable, how small we truly are. And perhaps that is the prophecy, not to inflate our pride with discovery, but to humble us, to teach us reverence in the face of the infinite. But whatever the meaning, one truth is clear. The story of Three-Eye Atlas is not finished. The pulses continue. The data grows. The silence of the authorities will not hold forever. And when the truth breaks, when the light of Atlas finally forces itself into the consciousness of humanity, nothing will ever be the same again. For once you see a light in the darkness, you cannot return to blindness. Once you know you are not alone, loneliness is impossible. And once prophecy begins to unfold, it cannot be reversed. It is a tide that carries all of us forward. So remember this moment. Remember the whispers in the dark, the flicker of artificial light across the abyss, the questions it has stirred within you. Because in the years to come, when humanity looks back, this may be the moment we mark as the beginning of contact, the beginning of awakening, the beginning of a new chapter in the story of life itself. Atlas is not just a rock, it is a symbol, a signal, a prophecy written in light. And its message, though still mysterious, is already clear enough. We are not alone, and the universe has begun to answer. Now, as you reflect on this, as you feel the weight of these revelations, know this. The future is not yet written. Atlas may be the herald of doom or the messenger of hope. It may bring unity or division, wisdom or madness. But prophecy reminds us that destiny is not imposed, it is chosen. And humanity, standing on the edge of this revelation, must now choose how to respond. Will we shrink in fear, or will we rise in wonder? Will we silence the light, or will we learn to understand it? The choice belongs to us, and that choice will echo through eternity. The artificial light detected on Three-Eye Atlas is not just a discovery, it is a mirror. It shows us what we fear, what we hope, and what we might yet become. And as we move forward into this uncertain future, remember, the light is still flickering, the signal is still calling, the prophecy is still unfolding. And whether we are ready or not, the universe has opened its door. So look to the skies, for they are no longer silent. The abyss is speaking, and its voice is made of light. Atlas is watching, Atlas is waiting. And soon, perhaps sooner than we dare to imagine, humanity will finally answer.